Woo! Exciting day here in Marvel Snap. Got a big shout out to this gentleman right here for data mining the game. And I believe that this is accurate information on what the potential nerfs are going to be for Silver Surfer and Zabu. And I just want to put this out here before I get into it. This is going to be controversial. I don't think everybody's going to be happy with this. So I'm going to just try to make the best out of this and talk about what this is actually going to mean for the card. Silver Surfer will become a 3-2, so his cost goes from 0 to 2 and will buff by 2. I feel like this is a pretty significant buff. I still think that Silver Surfer will get play. I think that the Silver Surfer Mr. Negative archetype will get a little bit weaker because of this, and we'll see how this plays out. I want to say this. There have been a lot of overpowered cards in Marvel Snap, and largely the developers have done a good job at making them right. I mean, I'll just give you a couple examples. Nova used to give out 2 power when he died, and Devil Dino used to be 3 cost, and Moon Girl used to be 3 cost, and Collector used to give 2 power. There's so many examples of cards that got nerfed, and at the time it seemed drastic, but largely the cards were still playable. And I'd like to believe that these nerfs right here, I want to see how they play out over the next couple of weeks. And my hope for these nerfs is that these cards will still be playable, but it'll allow for other archetypes to flourish in the meta. And we're going to talk about what decks are going to go crazy, and we're going to talk about Modoc. So Silver Surfer, pretty significant nerf. Now Zabu will become a 2 cost, and then it will reduce the cost of all 4 cost cards by 1. Now this is pretty significant because now you can play Zabu on turn 3. You can play a 4 cost on turn 4. On turn 5, turn 3, now you can play a 4 cost card, right? Which is effectively making Zabu like a fancier, better Psylocke for 4 cost cards. So this could lead into a Mr. Negative meta with Zabu, because Zabu can play on turn 2, and then you can play Mr. Negative on turn 3. So you're going to be able to play a 4 cost card on turn 3, turn 4, turn 5, and then on turn 6, you'll be able to play 2. In some ways, this also shuts down the double Spider-Man on turn 5, which I think was relatively unhealthy for the game. So this is going to be a drastic change. And with the only upside that I see to this is that maybe people will run Zabu just so they can get Surfer out on turn 3, kind of like a variation for Psylocke for 4 cost cards. I do think that's going to be. Now, what decks do I think are going to run rampant? Absolutely, without a doubt. I believe that there were 3 dominant metas right now before these nerfs, and it was, of course, Surfer and Sarah with Brood, and then the other one was like Zabu and Darkhawk, or whatever you were playing. Zabu, there's so many variations of Zabu decks. But the other deck that was definitely, in my opinion, a little bit outperforming was a Shuri deck with Red Skull. And for me, when the season resets later tonight, is my understanding is when it's going to reset. Modoc's coming in the game and this and that, but I'm going to be playing a Shuri Red Skull deck, probably something like this. And there are a ton of versions of this. And believe me when I say this, because I played this deck a lot, Shang-Chi ruins this deck. So if you're coming across this deck a lot, Shang-Chi just destroys this deck. And so get him ready, because that is going to be a thing. So I do want to talk a little bit about what this all means. I think they are a good start. Honestly, you no longer get Spider-Man plus Absorbing Man on turn 5 with Zabu, which is fantastic. But now you get a 4-drop on turn 3. The tempo gain isn't nearly as huge, but it will be a good card. I do think that is a reasonable take. So season 9 is coming soon, and that means there's going to be access to the battle pass, and then we're going to get the battle pass card, which is going to be Modoc. And then we're also expecting a goodish offer for gold. It's going to cost 8,000 gold, and it's going to have Mr. Negative, and it's also going to have collector tokens. Now, there is a better offer coming later on in the month, which I believe is 3,200 gold, and it has Deadpool, and it also has collector tokens. And the ratio on the secondary offer, which I believe comes on the 22nd, is a little bit better. So if you've been saving your gold, be on the lookout for one of those two offers. There have been a total of 4 offers in the game, 2 that are coming and 2 that we had, I believe, in December. And this one offer that's coming tonight is not as good as the 2 offers we had in December. But the one that is coming at the end of the month, the one that is with Deadpool, is in alignment with the offers that we got in December. Now, let's talk about Modoc. Modoc is going to be the Battle Pass card, and I think this is going to be an impactful card, a fun card with discard for sure. And I think that we're going to get at least 2 major different ways of using this card. I think that this will be fun. I'm not sure that it's going to make, Hella decks broken the same way that Surfer and Zabu, made certain archetypes just, amazing and over the top. But I'm definitely curious to see what it brings. And I think there's going to be 2 versions of Modoc. There's going to be a Hella version where maybe you hide everything underneath an invisible woman and so on and so on. And then the one that I am more personally interested is going to be a version of, and we're going to go into the game and I'm going to show you a deck because I've been playing these 2 decks quite a bit. And I just wanted to give my thoughts on what I think. But the Apocalypse version. So Hella version right here, I want to show you that. And then I'm not really sure exactly how this is going to play out or what card is going to be replaced. But there's probably going to be an Invisible Woman version with Hella. This is a current working Hella build that is okay. Now, I am not that interested in Hella myself. Personally, I want to start off with this deck right here. And the idea here with this deck is that Morbius is going to be very good with Modoc. Swarm wants to get discarded. So on turn 5, when Modoc goes off, then you're going to be immediately getting these swarms back into your hand. Calling Wing allows you to discard Swarm early if you don't have Morbius in your hand. I don't think Lockjaw will be in this deck. Sif always will most likely be targeting Apocalypse, and I think that's fantastic with Dracula, which I think is going to be amazing. And then, of course, Apocalypse wants to be discarded. So on turn 5, let's say you have Swarm and Apocalypse and maybe even Wolverine. You hit Modoc, all of that stuff bounces back into your hand, which is basically going to be, all of the swarms will be being played for 0. Dracula will be monstrous because you're going to have a monstrous Apocalypse in your hand and you're going to play out the America Chavez. So I am sold on Morbius, Swarm, Colleen Wing, Lady Sif, Dracula, Apocalypse, and America Chavez. And I probably will omit Lockjaw. And then as far as cards that I'm not really 100% sure how they're going to play out, because I know you're not going to want to accidentally discard Modoc, I guess. And then there's also maybe an opportunity for cards like Helicarrier or Ghost Rider. We will see. The jury is definitely out on how this deck will play out. So all of this is happening tonight, and a lot of people have been asking when the Infinite card is going to be issued out. I do not know how quickly that'll go into the inbox, but I know that'll go into the inbox on the phone and not on the inbox on the Marvel Steam client. All right, let me know what you think in the comment section. And the other thing also I want to say before I wrap this up, if you're playing on the Steam client, I would highly recommend using the untapped.gg. For playing decks like these, I found knowing what cards had been discarded and remembering very helpful with this tracking tool. So if Modoc becomes a meta card, I feel like this tool is going to be incredibly useful. All right, let me know what you think in the comment section. And as always, thanks for watching and keep on gaming. Bye for now.